Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Race number 10 at Belmont Park on Saturday is the prestigious Grade 1 $750,000 Jockey Club Gold Cup. Let's take a look at this field. We're going 1.25 miles. We have a field of 7. Todd Pletcher is represented by 3. I don't think you and I are going to agree about much in the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup, but I do think we'll agree on one thing.
Yeah.
There's one speed, and that is the number 1, Diversify.
That's pretty tough to argue with. I gotta believe Diversify, no matter how far he actually makes it in this race, he will be on the early lead here. He's a fast horse. He's coming in very good form off of 2 pretty easy wins. He was a real blowout winner last time. Stepping way up in class, stepping way out in distance, but he will be showing the way early.
Is he for real? Is that 108 Beyer speed figure in the Evan Shipman the new Diversify, the real Diversify? I mean, he has run 4 triple-digit Beyer races, but nothing as brilliant as that. I think if you break down the Shipman just watching it, you're able to see 4-horse field. Yeah. He's controlling it as a 1-2 favorite. Maybe he shouldn't blow him out like that, but a 108?
Yeah, it came back a fast race. That's fine. But everything I just said about it's true. I mean, he just basically walked on the lead against a bunch of horses who couldn't go with him in there, and there were only 3 others to boot. His other races don't quite stack up that well with that one. I mean, even his win 2 starts back in the Saginaw, another horse beat him to the front in there. Maybe that, sort of compromised him a little bit, but otherwise, I don't know. I wasn't really blown away with that win. He managed to get it done. He's just facing, it's not the toughest Jockey Gold Cup we've ever seen. He's still facing tougher horses here. I don't trust him to get the 1.25 miles against these horses.
1.25 miles is what really worries me. Timeform US Pace Projector has Diversify on the lead. We expect this pace to favor horses on or near the early lead. That might work against the morning line favorite Keen Ice. We'll talk about him in a minute. It could also work against the number 3 Good Samaritan, who just looks like a true one-run closer. In the Jim Dandy, he got the benefit, perhaps, of the fact that that race quickened up considerably the middle portion. Good Samaritan was able to get into it. The last run was the best run, and it was his best race from a Beyer standpoint. That, of course, is dirt debut. In the Travers, he went off the favorite. And maybe he just doesn't have any speed. Right. He shouldn't have been that far back.
I agree with that. He dropped way too far out of it in that race. I don't know what was going on there. Even though you knew he wasn't going to be, up close, he was way too far away.
You can't be 7 lengths behind looking at lead.
No, you can't. Right, exactly. You can't be that far behind. It's amazing to look at a pace projector there and see Keen Ice with 2 horses behind him. That tells you all you need to know about how this race is going to lay out. I like Good Samaritan as a horse, and I don't mind him as a dirt horse either. They switched over. I think he switched over very effectively at Saratoga. The problem is the best race that he ran, the Jim Dandy, was one of those races that really, speed favoring track or not, an inside speed favoring track or not, that race set up perfectly for him. They basically handed it to him on a silver platter, and he looked good running it down. And his Travers, he got too far away, but I don't know. I mean, he was never a real factor in that race. I get why they're putting blinkers on. I get that he could take a step forward here as a relatively lightly raced 3-year-old. I don't know, Dan, I just don't like him that much in this race. Maybe he'll win.
I don't think the race is as bad as it looks, simply because he had so much work to do. He did make up considerable ground on the turn, altered course to the far outside.
It's not like it was a big closer's race.
And then he flattened out in the last furlong. He just had to do a lot of work in the middle point, and the winner of that race is no slouch, obviously. West Coast came back to win the Pennsylvania Derby with a 107 Beyer speed figure. We'll quickly talk about the longest shot on the board. That's the 2 Highland Sky. Tough spot to make the dirt debut, especially with the pedigree. It's just all turf.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're switching over. I mean, he's been a disappointment so far as a 4-year-old. Maybe that's why they're doing it. I guess the distance is supposed to be fine for him, but I'd be shocked if he could win this race.
Destin was beaten a dirty nose in the 2016 Belmont Stakes. He then floundered in the Travers that summer. He is slowly making his way back for Todd Pletcher. Have you seen enough in his 2 races this year, including his game performance at Saratoga last time out at 1 1/8 miles, that he's getting back to his best game? Because the distance is his friend.
Yeah, I guess distance is okay for him. He's not going to mind it. And I guess he could pull the right trip in this race. He should be right up close to the pace. I just don't particularly like any one of his races and wouldn't bet him in here.
Rally Cry, the number 5, popped a big Beyer at Saratoga, going 1 1/8 miles. It was a 1:10. He set a very nice trip that day, and he blew away overmatched horses. In the Woodward, he was no match for Gunrunner, the best horse in the country right now.
Right.
I think John Velasquez saved a little bit there. He let the other Neolithic, the other Pletcher horse, sort of try to do the dirty work, hoping that he would soften up Gunrunner. And I think when the Johnny V saw Gunrunner open up on Neolithic, he was like, well, we're not going to beat him. But we're going to run second. Let's ride for second.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I mean, he just sort of, it's funny because the other Pletcher horse, Neolithic, was when it went to the front there and sort of took up the running in there. I felt like they did that maybe to give Rally Cry a better chance in the race. He sat basically right alongside Gunrunner up the backstretch.
Couldn't go with him.
Just couldn't go with that horse. I mean, none of these horses would be able to go with him, though. It's no disgrace, and he was second best at the end. I don't know. I really struggled with him, Dan. I really wanted to make him my top pick in this race and talk myself into betting him in here because he was so impressive 2 starts back with a really fast figure. I really don't know if he's this good a horse. I've never really felt like he was this good. Maybe Pletcher's gotten him there. I don't know. I'm going to use him, but I don't love him.
You worried about the 1.25 miles?
A little bit, but not as much as I am with horses like Diversify. I think he'll get it. I think he'll get a good trip in this race. I still wonder how good he is.
Let's take a look at our top picks for this year's Jockey Club Gold Cup. Now, you know I've always been way more of a fan of Key Nice than you. Through the lean times, I was a Key Nice guy. Key Nice, 1.25 miles at Belmont is really what he wants. We saw that in the Suburban 2 starts back, and I think there was a case to be made. There wasn't a lot of pace in that race either. He was able to stay within range, which was kind of key, and then he showed his professionalism, and more importantly, his stout stamina in the stretch and wearing down those horses. Nice big buyer speed figure, and in the Whitney. No disgrace running second to Gunrunner, especially when you miss the break. And Gunrunner's always going to get like this gigantic head start on you turning into the stretch. I think Todd was using the Whitney as a bridge to this race. I think after the Suburban, Todd thought, this is probably my Breeders' Cup.
Me too. I agree with all that stuff, Dan. I mean, listen, I don't love him in here, and this is the kind of race where you know he's going to be a short price. Do you really want to take, something to 5 on Key Nice? I mean, I really don't. But the more I looked at this race and the more I thought about it, I think he just might be better than these horses. And even if the pace doesn't really develop, first of all, I don't believe that Diversify is going to go out there and go like 52 to the half. I think he might go sort of an honest kind of a pace. And Key Nice showed in that Suburban he doesn't have to get totally outrun. I don't know. At the end of the day, I just think he might be better than these horses, Dan.
I want the upside. I know that the 4 Pavel is very, very lightly raced. I mean, heck, at the end of June, he was still an unraced maiden. He's progressed very quickly. He did not beat anything last time out on the Smarty Jones, but he did it the right way, visually, the right way from a speed figure standpoint with a 103. Obviously, it's a giant test, taking on older horses, going 1.25 miles and only start number 4. But I like his tactical speed. Again, I want the upside in this race. We know that Key Nice can find ways to lose. We're not sure if Good Samaritan really is a dirt horse or is he dressed up by that Jim Dandy. We're not sure if Diversify wants to go 1.25 miles or whether Rally Cry is truly a Grade 1 horse or whether Destin is ever going to get back to that Grade 1 Belmont Stakes form. I want the upside. Let's see what Pavel can do. I don't like his price on the morning line. Something tells me he might be the wise guy horse in the race.
I think he might be too. I would never take a short price on him. We'll see how they bet it though. I don't have any knocks on him, Dan. If you told me, listen, I think you would agree with this. If you told me I could just have one horse out of this race going forward, I mean, it's a pretty easy call. You want it to be him. He has a lot of ability. I don't know. I just don't like him that much in this race. We'll see what happens if he goes 1.25 miles. I loved his Smarty Jones. I like the way that he finished it. I don't like the field that he beat, and I don't like the way that he just, he got so much separation on that field so quickly at the top. It's almost like it only happened because nobody was running behind him. We'll see. I can't bet him in this race, but we'll see what happens.
7, 5, 3, and 4 for Mike. 4, 1, 3, 7 for me. In the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup. It's the feature race at Belmont Park on Saturday. It's a really good card. And if you're betting it at home, you owe it to yourself to sign up for DRF Bets. You'll immediately be rewarded with a $300 bonus. And all you have to do is go to drf.com/fall and use the promo code FALL300. Approximate post time for the prestigious Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup, 5:23 Eastern on Saturday. Good luck.